Hello, this is Kevin Fung with Blue Planet Surf. Thank you for tuning in. This video is going to help you pick out your first stand-up paddleboard. Some of the points we're going to cover are functionality, what kind of boards are good for what kind of activities, how your height and weight influence picking the right board, and how any future goals or any environmental conditions that you have to deal with might influence what kind of board is going to be right for you. Let's go to the Blue Planet shop on Ward Ave in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I'll show you some of the boards that we got. Here at Blue Planet Surf, we tell our customers that there's really 4 important things that they want to focus on. The first is, what is the function of the board? Are you surfing, racing, or doing recreational paddling? The second point is, what are your height and weight? If you're taller or heavier, in general you need a bigger board that's going to offer more flotation, whereas if you're shorter or lighter, in general you can get on a smaller board that offers less flotation. The third point to consider is, what kind of environmental conditions are you paddling in? If you're in windy, choppier conditions, you got to get a board that's conducive to that kind of environment. Whereas if you're on calm, kind of placid water conditions, then once again you want to get a board that's conducive to optimizing performance in that environment. The fourth thing to consider is, what kind of future goals does the individual have? If you're looking to do paddleboarding very frequently and you're doing it 4 to 5 times a week, whatever board you get now, you might possibly progress out of it very quickly and have to buy another board. So those kind of customers, we tell them, hey, pick something that's a little challenging now so that you can grow into it and it's going to be at the level that you're trying to get to. On the flip side of that, if you're not paddling very frequently or you're not going to be using the board more than a handful of times a month, picking out a board that's suited for you right now as an individual is good, because in the ongoing months you're going to still be at the same level roughly, and that board's still going to still be suited for you as an individual. When looking at paddle boards or picking your first SUP, other than what are you doing overall and what is the shape of the board, it's important to take into account the 4 dimensions of the board. For our fun stick model, this is one of our kind of recreational / surfboards. This guy is 9 feet 4 inches long, 33 inches wide, 4 inches thick, and 140 liters of volume. The first dimension is your length. Length is going to affect the fluid dynamics of the board. The longer it is, the more efficiently it'll cover distance, whereas the shorter the board is, the more maneuverable the board's going to be. The width of the board significantly impacts the stability of the board. If you have a wider board, it's less likely for that board to teeter and totter back and forth, whereas if we make that board narrower, a lot easier for it to teeter and totter. Narrower boards offer greater surf performance and faster speed though, by decreasing the amount of surface area and decreasing the drag. The third dimension is the thickness of the board. This is measured from the absolute widest point of the board for this model right about here. But thickness can be somewhat misleading. If you look, the thickness kind of tapers out as you go towards the tail, thickness tapers out as you go towards the nose, and then the rails kind of taper out as well too. So I would say thickness is probably the least important of the 4 dimensions. The last dimension is the volume of the board. This measures just the overall water displacement of the board, or the flotation. Our Blue Planet SUP volume chart just enables you to figure out a good approximate volume for you as an individual. First thing you got to do is find your weight in kilograms, and then from there you're going to take that weight in kilograms and multiply it by one of the multipliers within that range you're seeing. Just as an example, for expert / surfing pros, the multiplier is going to be 1.1 to 1.3. So if you have a body weight of about 70 kilograms, you're just going to multiply that times 1.1 to 1.3. In general, the higher the volume number is, the more floaty the board is, and the more weight or the less experienced paddler the board can manage, whereas the lower the volume is, either the more experienced of a paddler you have to be, or the lighter or shorter you have to be as an individual. When you're looking at boards, it's very important to take and consider the shape of the board. Here at Blue Planet Surf, we break down shape into 4 simple components. You got the nose shape, the tail shape, the rail shape, and the rocker. For noses, you either have pointed noses, which optimize the maneuverability, or you have fuller noses, which increase the surface area and optimize the stability of the board. For tails, you kind of have the same thing. The more surface area this tail has, or the wider the tail is, the more it's going to improve the stability of the board and the glide, whereas a more pinned off tail like this, kind of a thumbtail like this, it's going to increase the hold when you're surfing on the face of a wave. For the rails, the more tapered off that rail is, or the more kind of pointed that rail is like this, the less stable the board's going to be, but the more surfable it is. Whereas if you got thicker, kind of beefier rails like this, it's going to improve the stability of the board by pulling the volume all the way out to the width. The last thing when addressing shape is the rocker line of the board. The top board, you can see it's got a little more of a banana shape to it, or more of a rocker. That's going to increase the board's ability to keep the nose planing, especially when you're surfing on bigger waves where you got to take late takeoffs. Whereas the board on the bottom with a flatter rocker line is going to increase the glide of the board when you're paddling in flat water conditions. Thank you for watching our shortened version on how to pick out your first stand-up paddleboard. If you're thirsty for more knowledge, please check out the link below. It's going to cover a lot more detailed explanations of addressing all the points that we talked about. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, tune into our other videos. Aloha. If you like this video or any of our other videos, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It really helps out the business. This is Kevin Fung with Blue Planet Surf. Thank you for watching. Please check out all of our other YouTube videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the water. Aloha.